Welcome to Fight Club 24/7. My name's Johnny Rashman. Right, let's get straight into it. Fuck me. Some event, wasn't it? Usyk Joshua. Before I go into it, I want to talk about Saudi Arabia just quickly. I'm not happy with events being in Saudi Arabia, and I'm going to explain on the video. I'll pull it out tomorrow, the next few days, why. I just think it's not good for boxing. The atmosphere was crap. It ruins the event for the fans. Look, I'm all for change, and I hope the people of Saudi Arabia get that change. But for me, them overpaying for big boxing events, they're pricing people out the market. And unfortunately, it'll become the norm where big boxing events will be in that part of the world. And how can it be where fans can't go? There was no UK fans there. Now, people might go, they might be able to go, but they're not going to go, are they? Right? No UK fans there, no Ukrainian fans. How can that be good for boxing? You know, apart from the fighters and the promoters who are getting paid more money, looking more for fighters getting paid more money, not promoters, right? But not when they're alienating fans, right? I'm gonna delve into it properly in the next few days, and you'll understand my point. So tune in for that video. Right, I want to talk about the fight. Now, the title in the thumbnail is, this was AJ's best performance. I'm going to explain why. I've seen a lot of fans saying, oh, he was outclassed and he got beat and it was a bad performance. Typical guy, Jamie O'Hara on TalkSport. He really needs to not speak about boxing. Like, I like him when he talks about football, but boxing, he just really doesn't have a clue. He was on TalkSport saying how it wasn't a great performance. He got outclassed, and Laura Woods was saying, look, it was a good performance from AJ. It was one of his best performances of his career, right? And I agree with Laura Woods, right? I do. I agree with her, and I'm going to explain why. Now, if you look, fighters and people who are involved in the sport and people who have boxed at some type of level will look at this and they'll say, that was a great performance from AJ. It really was, right? Now, you'll get fans who may never have been in a boxing gym or may not really truly understand the sport, and that's fine. Look, you need people like that in boxing. The more eyes, the better, right? Doesn't mean your opinion's bad, but it just means you might not understand it. So this is why I'm going to break it down for you. And it's important that other outlets break it down. The fight played out how we all thought it would. AJ did well the first 6 rounds and was gassing out in the championship rounds, and Usyk took over. So what we thought happened really did happen, right? But, and I should have really talked about this pre-fight, right? You have to put context into Anthony Joshua's career, right? You've got to put context to it, right? People go, he won an Olympic gold medal and this and that. He came into boxing late, right? He's not a guy who started boxing at 7 years of age, been in the gym, been through amateur tournaments as a kid, right? Gone all the way up and lives and breathes boxing, lived and breathed boxing as a kid, right? I know fighters who are so naturally talented, right? They've been boxing since they were 6 years of age, right? And boxing is second nature to them. And I know fighters who have got to where they've got to through hard work. AJ's in the latter. He has got to the heights of his career through hard work. Yes, there's an element of talent, but he's not a naturally talented boxer, right? And I think people are getting confused because Eddie Hearn has sold him as the next big thing. He's the best thing ever, this and that, and he's unbelievable. And if you listen to Eddie Hearn, the guy's God, right? You have to understand Eddie is a promoter, right? He's a salesman. Just like in any industry, you have salesmen, right? If you're going to buy a couch, you're going to go into the sofa shop, they're going to try and sell you the most expensive couch. They're going to say, it's great, it's fantastic. You feel like you're floating on a cloud, right? They're not going to say, well, after a few years, it might be a bit uncomfortable and it's not that great. And the value's going to just drop off. So in another 4 months, you'll probably be able to get this for £500 cheaper. They're not going to tell you that. They're going to sell you something, right? So when Eddie Hearn talks, he is selling you something, right? He's not going to tell you the truth. He's going to tell you what he wants you to buy. He's selling you something. He's a salesman. He's a promoter. And he's fucking very good at it, right? So I think people are looking at it and thinking, well, Eddie said he's this, and this, and this. And he's the best thing ever. And why is he getting beat by a cruiserweight? When you have to put context into it, right? AJ started his boxing career late, Right? I think he was like 18 when he first went into a boxing gym. I mean, to get to an Olympic, to get to World Championship, Olympic gold medal, heavyweight championship, that's unbelievable. Right? It's unbelievable. He's not as naturally talented as Usyk. Usyk would have been boxing probably since the first few years of his life. Right? It's so like Lionel Messi, it's exactly the same in boxing terms. Right? Usyk is that talented. He's that good. Right? And if you look at the first fight and you look at this fight, the improvements in AJ was incredible. Right, incredible, and I'm going to explain why. First of all, defensively, right, I thought he was fantastic with his defense. He never the glove never left his hand. Right, he was blocking shots, parrying shots. There was a bit of head movement. He was looking for the counter. When he was throwing his shots, he was aware that there could be a counter coming back. Right, and he understood that, and that shows the mark of the man. That shows that guy is. He might fail the first time, but he'll come back and he'll improve and he'll win, or he'll put a great performance. And it's not just in boxing, but in life. That's a solid mindset, right? That's a really fucking solid mindset, because really shouldn't be competing with someone like Usyk. You shouldn't. Usyk is that good, right? But the improvements were there. Like I say, defensively he was good. He was sound. Right, he was taking shots. Yes, he was getting caught towards the end, and he was getting caught with headshots. But he was aware he wasn't getting peppered, and he never looked like he was going to get stopped at any stage. Right, so they really worked on that. So I thought that was defensively. I thought that was his best performance. Right, because he's fighting a guy who's just a wizard. Right, Dave Caldwell explained it fantastically on the Sky Sports production, and Tony Bellew was alluded to this, where he mentally drains you, Usyk. He's always moving. He's always on his feet. He's always creating angles, right? And AJ has to reset. And then you're thinking, is he slipping? Is he going to throw a punch? Is he going to slip and not throw anything? Is he just going to throw a shot and go to the body? And he's always up and down, and he's busy with his hands. What's he going to do? Is he going to throw a shot? Is he just feinting? Is he pouring it? Is he luring you in? He's got his hands down. It's mentally exhausting to be in that kind of pressure. How I can liken it to is Barcelona under Pep Guardiola, right? I'm a big United fan. We'll talk about this year, but, you know, Man United aren't defined by their defeat to Barcelona in the Champions League final. I think it was 2011 or 12, right? Where they just absolutely played us off the park, right? Just destroyed us, right? Just with pure football. No one really remembers that, right? They remember the performance, but no one goes, "Oh, that's Man United. That's a team who got absolutely outclassed by Barcelona." You go, fair play, right? Fair play. They're just an unbelievable team, right? And the pressure they put on their opponents with the passing and the pressing, and it's just constant all the time, right? That's what Usyk is like. He's like Barcelona under Pep Guardiola. He's that good in all aspects of his game. So it's draining, and AJ just couldn't pin him down. That was the issue. He just couldn't pin him down. You're thinking, let your shots go, right? And there was times where he did hurt Usyk, and he was targeting the body. He was having success with it. But you're there and you're screaming at the TV, let your hands go, come on. But it's easy for us saying that, right? We're not in there with him. And AJ summed it up best after the fight. And I think people took this out of context, where he said, look at the size of me. I'm not a Rocky Marciano, Mike Tyson, or any of these fighters, right? I'm a new breed of heavyweight. I'm not 14 stone. And he's absolutely correct. People were taking that out of context. He wasn't comparing himself to them. He was saying, look, he's not a 14 stone, 15 stone man, right? He can't throw punches like a lightweight. Bang, 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 you know, for 12 rounds, right? He's a heavyweight, right? He's going to gas out. That's just what's going to happen. He's a big human being. It doesn't matter how fit and strong he is. He's always going to have that element of tiring out. So he has to be careful with that. And that you could see that was in his mind. So I think that was an element of him not throwing his shots, as well as him. He just couldn't pin Usyk down, right? Because really, Usyk, I've never seen someone come up to heavyweight and perform like that. I've not. I know we've had the Vander Holyfield and fighters come from cruiserweight, but not at like a lightweight. He's literally like a heavier Lomachenko. That's what he's like. It's just not natural for someone to go up to heavyweight, because you're thinking, well, the extra muscle is going to slow him down and he's going to struggle with the size. But it's just like it wasn't an issue for him, right? And he looks faster and he looks stronger, and it just defines fucking physics, you know. So it's just a once in a lifetime fighter. He really is. So like I say, so AJ his punch output isn't going to be a million punches around, right? So he has to conserve his energy. That's what he was saying basically, right? And in the fight, you can see him thinking, right, I don't want to get tired here. And he's trying to pin Usyk down, and he was going to the body, he was targeting the body well, right? I said it pre-fight, that was the consensus. You've got to target the body of Usyk. And he did it well. He was hurting him, right? He was countering and going to the body, right? He was targeting left body shot. He was going to the solar plexus a lot. He was trying to slow him down, right? And I thought he did that well. It was a lot more competitive than the first fight. Now, I'm not saying AJ won the fight. He didn't. Right, we all know Usyk won the fight clearly towards the end, but the improvements were there for all to see. I think that was one of his best performances defensively. The way he was thinking, the way he was putting shots together to the body. Right, you've got to remember, he's not fighting a big heavyweight. He's fighting a consistently moving target. Moving. Every second he's moving. He's never staying in one place. Even when AJ's throwing his combinations, he's having success, he's still evading punches. It's like something from the Matrix. It's just unbelievable. And you have to understand, for AJ to make that fight more competitive, because let's get it right, after the first fight, right, we all said we don't want to see the rematch, he'll get stopped. It won't even, a lot of people didn't think it'd last 6 rounds, right? I said it in my pre-fight prediction, there's no way Usyk's going to go in there and blow him out in a few rounds, right? I said AJ will improve and he'll make it a more competitive fight, he'll give Usyk problems, and he did. Right, you look at the 8th, 9th round, Usyk's gone back to his corner. He ain't laughing and joking. He's in a fight. He knows he's in a fucking fight, right? So you've got to give tremendous credit to AJ for that. People saying, oh, we got outclassed and this and that. Well, yes, he's fighting one of the best fighters to ever put gloves on. I'm telling you, he's that good. I never used to rate Usyk, to be honest, as a fighter like that. I always thought he was a great fighter, but I never thought he'd be like one of the GOATs. I'm just seeing him the last few fights and the way he's performed, and it shocked me. It does, because you don't really see it a lot in boxing. Someone going through the weights like that, going up to heavyweight and just retaining the speed and the power. It's just beautiful to watch, stunning, and put in the mix that he's a southpaw. Right, it's just a nightmare. Right, and AJ had never thought he'd have to fight someone like that. Right, he'd always thought he'd fight big heavyweights. You know, if he fought Tyson Fury, I've always said Fury wins that fight, but it's an easier fight. It is. It's an easier fight. Now, I'm not saying he'd win that fight, but it's an easier fight because Fury isn't going to be all over the place. Yes, he has good movement for a heavyweight, but he's not going to be as elusive and slippery as Usyk, who's coming up from cruiserweight. So it's just, him in the boxing ring at heavyweight is just murder for any heavyweight. It's just murder, right? Stone Cold fucking off the bat, problems for anyone, including Tyson Fury. It's problems, and everyone knew it, right? In the first fight, they all knew it. AJ's coach knew it. Thought Robert McCracken got thrown under the bus in the first fight. AJ's former coach, I'll explain in a video after about that. But taking everything into consideration, it was a good performance, a really good performance from AJ. He just lost to one of the best fighters in the world, right? There's no shame in that. There's absolutely no shame in that. Now, I can understand people who may be casual fans and they've listened to Eddie Hearn and they're thinking, well, Eddie said this guy's the best in the world. He's sold us something that's not true. You know, if I want to buy a can of tomato soup, I buy it says tomato soup and it's pea soup, I've been sold something that's not right. Do you know what I mean? So there'll be an element of fans believing that, but you have to sift through all that and listen to outlets like myself and people in the game, fighters, managers, promoters, people who aren't biased, right? If you look at a lot of fighters, they'll all say it was a good performance from AJ. right? He put everything into it. I thought he did the UK proud, right? Yes, we'll go on after the fight. We'll talk about that. But in the boxing sense, to come back from that adversity in the first fight, how many times have we seen rematches where someone's been totally outclassed and the second fight they've just been bombed out, right? It's happened many times, many times, right? And for AJ to have that mentality to go in there and to perform like that, and the ninth round we thought we had him. Usyk was in trouble. He was scrambling around. He took a few shots, right? Okay, not as 100% clean, but he was hurt, right? And you're thinking, this is it. He's done it. He's going to stop him. Like, you're on the edge of your seat. You're thinking he's got a breakthrough. And he's got confidence. He's gone down to his corner, AJ, and he's feeling confident. And then Usyk just comes out and just has his best round of the fight. I mean, that's not world class. That's just elite. That is just elite, right? And AJ just couldn't capitalise on that. And then once that 10th round came, I think it was a 9th where he had his best round, AJ, where he had him in trouble. And once the next round came and Usyk performed like that and just peppered AJ and just outclassed him, I thought, he's not going to win this fight. He's too good. He's too good, right? But AJ went in there, right? He would have been tired towards the end. The lactic acid would have gone into the muscles and he wouldn't have had much left, and he hung in there and never stopped believing he could win that fight against one of the best fighters in the world, right? You can't do nothing but appreciate that, right? And as a UK boxing fan, you got to respect that. Any boxing fan, he just came up short against an unbelievably good fighter, right? He'll never beat Usyk, right? He just has that style. There's certain fighters where styles make fights. Right, and Usyk's style is all wrong for AJ. We all knew it before the first fight, and we knew it for this fight, and he still took the challenge on. Okay, he's got paid millions of pounds, right? We understand that, but he still took the challenge on. He didn't go in there overweight. He's not falling out on nightclubs. He's not calling fights off and claiming mental health, right? I understand mental health is real, right? But sometimes it can be used as an excuse, right? He's not doing that, right? He's gone in there believing he can win, improved, made that fight more competitive than the last fight, right? Made it intriguing. Usyk knew he was in the fight. Look, he was marked up afterwards. Great performance from AJ, right? And if you look at it defensively and his foot movement, the way he was, his head movement, I've not seen that in other fights, right? I thought as an overall package of a 12-round fight, I thought that was one of his best performances, right? You put him in with any other heavyweight, he'd probably beat them. You put him in with most other heavyweights, he'll beat them, right? Believe me, including Deontay Wilder, right? Trust me, Deontay Wilder that fight will be a lot easier than Usyk, because Wilder's not going to be moving all over the place. He's going to stand there with the big right hand, right? And yes, if you get hit by it, you'll get put to kip, but you know what to expect. You don't know what to expect with Usyk. He's a bundle of tricks. He's a wizard, right? He mentally drains you, and you don't know what to expect. What happened post-fight with AJ, right? I'm not going to delve too much into it. I'm going to do another video about it, so watch that. I just think you need to give the guy a break, right? He's come through a training camp of nearly a year, right? He's had people bashing him all the time, right? People say he's media trained, he's not the real AJ. And then when he shows emotion, people say that's the real AJ, he's a bully, he's this and that. And look, there's things he didn't do well, right? Of course, there's things he said on the microphone where in the cold light of day, he'd probably think I shouldn't have said that, right? But at the end of the day, the guy's human. Right, you've got to understand when you come out of a fight, he's not coming out the fish and chip shop. We can all give our opinion. He's just coming out of a 12-round mentally draining fight. His senses will be scrambled, right? So you have to give him the benefit of the doubt. So tune into my next video, and I'm going to delve into exactly why I think you've got to give AJ a fucking break, right? But it was a great fight. Usyk, what a master. The fight we need to see is Tyson Fury, right? I'm a big Fury fan, but he is putting me off the last few weeks. For a guy who says he doesn't care about money and this and that, all I hear him go on about is money. He's retiring every minute. He's not retiring. It's like, come on, right? Just be yourself, mate, right? You've got money in the bank. You're good. You're a superstar. Like, what? You don't need to play games every second, and it is turning people off. You know, if you're going to say you don't care about money and money's not everything, stop saying get your checkbook out. Right? I'd rather you just say I want to fucking earn a shitload of money. Like Floyd says, Floyd Mayweather says it best. He doesn't apologise for it. He wants to make as much money as possible. Fair fucking play. Right? But stop putting mixed messages out there. Right? If Just say you want to get paid as much as possible. You don't care if the fight's in the moon, in England, or in Thailand. As long as I get as much money as possible. Just say that, because we all know that's what you want, right? Very interesting fight. I always said Fury would win that fight, but I'm telling you, listen, there's always been a whisper in boxing that Fury's never fancied that fight. It has. There's always been whispers, right? And I can understand it. That fight's, for me, it's not a given for Tyson Fury. It's not. Because like I say, Usyk is like no other fucking heavyweight. Tyson Fury wouldn't have fought anyone like him. Anyone, right? And similarly, Usyk wouldn't have fought anyone like Tyson Fury. So it's such a compelling fight. It has to happen. We need to see it next. Let me know your thoughts. In the cold light of day, do you think it was a good performance from AJ? Do you think he was in the fight? What do you think of his performance? Like, comment, subscribe, let me know.